Hello ladies and gentlemen, Legend Commentaries here, bringing you today a commentary on Yorick in a 5v5 on Summoner's Rift. So his abilities are very complex, we're going to go through them quite quickly and I'll explain them more in detail in the actual commentary. So his passive, you take 5% reduced damage and deal 5% more damage for each ghoul you have out, and it also provides a stat that your ghouls have 35% of your attack damage and health. Now by ghouls I mean things like in his Q, Omen of War. You melee attack an enemy, and then a ghoul spawns. It deals attack damage, follows them around quickly, and also grants you some movement speed. Your W does pretty much the opposite. You call it down from range, it's a AoE spell, and when it lands, it'll slow enemies and deal damage, and then enemies around it, after it's spawned and follows them to hit them, will also be slowed. Then you have your E, Omen of Famine. You drop it down on an enemy target. It's not AoE, it has to be single target. It deals damage to them, and then it will also heal you for the damage it deals. So it also auto-attacks. All these ghouls auto-attack after you call them down. So while they're up and alive, you can have up to a max of 5% increased damage per each ghoul, so 15% total. Then you have your ultimate, Omen of Death. You cast it on an ally, and it creates a ghost of them. This is kind of a complex ability, so I'm thinking about how I want to word it. It creates a ghost of them, and then when you have that ghost, it'll deal either 40, 60, or 75% of their attack damage based on your rank. And if they die, then they'll be reanimated. So you have kind of a call to make there. Can you maximize the amount of time that they're alive and have a revenant, or do you want to simply use their ghost for some extra attack damage on something like a turret or in a team fight? So doing this on your AD carry is a good idea if they are still alive and healthy in a team fight, and doing it on someone who just does a lot of damage is a good idea if you're using it on someone who's about to die. For my runes, I go for pretty much AD runes with, instead of armor yellows, going for mono regen yellows. You go for attack damage reds and quints, magic resist blues, and then mono regen per 5 yellows. Now if you think you can manage your mana okay, then you can go ahead and get armor there. You can get really anything that you want. I just like the mono regen because it does allow you to stay in lane for a bit longer. For my masteries, I go for a mix of offense and defense. Defense going down all the way to the last point, and then offense going down and getting the cooldown reduction and the spell pen. So pretty standard masteries as well for a kind of defensive top tanky sustain champion. I'd really recommend using these masteries and not varying from them, although I guess a bit of utility wouldn't hurt for the mono regen and the movement speed. But other than that, just stick with these, give it a try, and see how you do. Alright, let's get straight into some of these clips here. You can see I'm going top against a Cho'Gath, and he's actually about to engage on me. So I use my harass, I use all of my abilities. We are both at about half health, so now he wants to engage. I'm not really sure why he stayed at this point, probably because Yorick can chase him further than he could have done anything with. So I end up taking him out pretty easily. Now, Cho'Gath is an okay counter to Yorick, and it's kind of demonstrated here a little bit more later on in the game. He can heal with his passive, so that also procs on Yorick's ghouls, so you can stay pretty healthy in lane against a Yorick. Now here they get a little bit too cocky. Pantheon ults in, we got a jungle Pantheon, ignores the Udyr, so Udyr gets zoned out. I'm at 60 health, so right here, using my Ignite on Cho'Gath, using my ghouls over the wall, and now Udyr comes back around to help. Now your W, remember, slows people, so you can use it to kite. I get in close, draw Udyr back once again, Pantheon's crit procs for that last hit and takes out Udyr, and then Cho'Gath gets his flash forced. So really good plays there, kind of just keeping in mind that, okay, I'm playing Yorick, I have a lot of sustain, I have a lot of utility, so I can kind of stay in fights a bit longer, I can kite a bit better, and I can bait really well. And that's kind of what you have to do. If you have a top lane like Yorick who gets counterpicked by a Cho'Gath, and here he rushed an early Guardian Angel, I'm not really sure what that was about. I guess just trying to kind of deal with the harass I was putting off, because Yorick is both AD and a bit of AP damage with his W. So he did okay, however he just couldn't quite deal with my damage. Now here, really nice play. I'm proud of this one. I see them both coming up. There's no opportunity for me to get out, you know, with the spikes and everything. So I go ahead and I pop my Ghost, my ultimate, offensively on myself. So it's doing, what level am I here? 14. Okay, so it's doing 60% of my damage. It goes ahead and pops Cho'Gath's Guardian Angel, and then I get out safely because he's not there to spike me. Now Pantheon comes in, he's able to get the stun off onto Pantheon, or onto Udyr. We go ahead and take down Cho'Gath, and then Morgana clutch bind there on Udyr, and we're able to pick up a double kill on top lane. So all part of Yorick there, I come out full health because of my ghouls. Really, really fun to play top lane because you can do pretty much anything. If you get ganked, you can oftentimes 2v2 because you will have your ghost with you for 10 seconds. And I mean, honestly, if you're just straight out fighting, fights usually don't last that much longer than 10 seconds. So now that we have our lane pushed, we have 4 people up here top lane. We're going to go ahead and push as much as we can. And my Revenant is going to be up in another 10 seconds. So you have to keep in mind that your cooldown is so low on your ultimate, you can really afford to use it at some inopportune times if you think it's going to present an okay opportunity. So for example, I'm going to want to use it on Ezreal a lot. And maybe I think we're going to engage, so I use it on him, and it doesn't quite pay off. I can't quite catch up because the Ghost doesn't have increased movement speed. It's just their movement speed. Here, the ball's on this Yorick. I don't even know what was going on, but I follow him. Didn't quite have the range to pick up the Ashe, and notice my ult's still up. I didn't pop it when we went in there because I thought we were just going to leave. However, I kind of make up for it here with a clutch over the wall W. Remember, it has the AoE slow, so it slows all of them, and as long as it stays there, it's also slowing them. So they leave it alive. They didn't turn around and kill it, so it was able to slow them, and it got Ez and Yorick out of there alive. And now Cho'Gath chases out, kind of an idiot, but you know, it happens. He chases them out and gets taken out fairly easily by some Morgana and Ez burst. And then, of course, we might as well just stay and push that turret. So, actually, no, we didn't push the turret. I thought that was the clip where we pushed the turret. We didn't. They're face-checking in bush, although Yorick did ward it just a bit ahead of time. Meanwhile, Sona and Gragas getting taken down really, really low here. Sona does go down, Gragas as well, but the Ashe arrow comes in, not quite able to pick up the Gragas kill. So, here's how Yorick shines. I use my W to slow down the Ashe. The exhaust goes off from Yorick. I have all my ghouls going down on her. We then can go back here and continue diving. I take so much damage because of this build that I'm running with, which is either Ninja Tabi or Merc Treads. You don't really want to go anything else on him. And starting with well, you have 2 options. You can either start with your boots if you feel as though you're comfortable with your mana regen and management of that resource. If not, like me, I kind of like to use my spells and spam it and get a lot of harass down. I like to run a Meki Pendant first, and then build that straight into a tier and my boots for my first back trip. So you build your tier, and then go ahead, build your boots too, build a Glacial Shroud, okay, then go back, finish up your Manamune, build a Spirit Visage for the health regen, and then go back and build your Frozen Heart. So Frozen Heart comes a bit later, but if you really think about it, you're not having team fights with all the members there of their AD carry, their jungler if he's AD, their top lane if they're AD. You're not having those team fights till a bit later on in the game, so it's okay to hold off on the Frozen Heart. You can always mix up the order as well and kind of change it around for whatever suits you best. Here, a nice turnaround. Unfortunately, Yorick did get taken out, and I mess up on my ultimate here. I'm going to show you guys basically the worst time to ultimate in the world. So, as getting taken down, I didn't ult. My ult was up, you can see there. It is up. I run into the fight. I was thinking about who to ultimate. Pantheon's melee. You don't really want to do that. And I end up just ulting myself here way late into the fight. Really not even a point at this point. So, yeah, there's my ghost. I don't know. Not the best play there. Kind of an example of what you do not want to do on Yorick. If you think there's going to be a team fight, go ahead and pop your ultimate. Especially with this build with the cooldown reduction from your Spirit Visage and your Frozen Heart. You're going to be able to basically spam your ultimate. It's up in less than a minute at max rank, so you can have it every single team fight doing a lot of damage. Here, popping it on the right person, so Ezreal's back there, low health, pop my Ghost ability, and it's full health. So a really nice kind of bonus that not many people think about is, if your AD carry is low on health, you can still pop the Revenant on it and get a full health Ghost to use. So there, popped it just for the opportunity of perhaps picking up a kill. Not a big deal because here we're going to be able to, you know, 30 seconds from now, it's going to be up again and we're going to be pushed up on their turret. So we take advantage of them being pushed back. Go ahead and push up the turret. At this point, I went for a Catalyst after building all those other items that I was talking about. And after this point, you can really kind of play with what you want to do. I was kind of the tank for our team. We didn't really have a tank. Pantheon, as you can see there, he went for a Randuin's, but other than that, he has a Yumu's, 2 Dorans, and looking to build an Atmos. So not really the tankiest of champions. I wanted to be our tank, so I went for the Banshee's Veil, because it's going to give me a bit more magic resist. I've got 209 armor and only 126 MR. So now, here, Ezreal getting caught. He's able to flash over the wall. Fortunately, I come back, and I'm going to actually use the Revenant there. There we are. The Ezreal Revenant comes in, able to do a ton of damage, so we basically can fight on this turret all day long. Pantheon gets taken out, but it doesn't matter because we're able to clean up. And now, oh man, this is amazing. This is an amazing series of events. So Yorick, remember the W. You have to use the W. You rank it second because it's so important. You can kite effectively with it, and you can also use it for a lot of damage. So here, Ashe, the ultimate kiting champion, has a blue buff, so never gonna run out of volley ammunition. I am able to get my E off there, miss the W, but fortunately she stays behind a bit too long, and I'm able to land my W. It slows her down enough that I can catch her with a flash, get a Q off, and pick her off. Now we turn on Cho'Gath. I'm able to use the slow again. All the CC from Yorick is just fantastic for team fights, fantastic for winning your lane, and ultimately winning the game if you can catch people out of position. So Cho'Gath able to get out there, lucky man with his flash. Gragas now comes in. He's able to pick up Taric. Morgana still in the back there baiting. She's got only a few health. She picks up the Cho'Gath, although my ghouls probably would have been able to handle it. But it's okay, because she has the bait here. Dodges the Gragas barrel the entire time. I'm back here wailing on Gragas. I pick him up. Sona follows. And the spell shield with the mana. There, the bait with the spell shield. Sona goes in, and I'm able to pick up Sona as well. So kiting the entire time, keeping her as far behind Morgana as I could until Morgana had enough mana for her spell shield. So really nice play there. Able to kind of take control of the entire situation on the map. So the rest of the build, like I was talking about, you can either go with a Banshee's Veil, go more defensively, or you could go with something like a Triforce. I did that in a game today. I built a Triforce because I was more of the damage dealer for the team. We didn't necessarily need a tank. And then you can also go for a Last Whisper for your last item, Bloodthirster, anything like that. Play around with the build, play around with Yorick. He's a great champion. I hope you guys learned something today in this commentary, and I will talk to you next time. Love you, and goodbye.